Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to make a really fun birthday card that's interactive and bouncy and just a lot of fun to make and to give. The inspiration of this card, it came from this birthday card my daughter got a few years ago. And what I do when I find a cool card or box or packaging thing that inspires me because it's got funky folds on it or whatnot, I save it. I have a big binder of different templates, and then when I'm looking to make something different, then I'll look through there and see if something inspires me. And I loved how this folded out and how it looked like you had like a group of animals having fun there. So I thought it would be really fun to do with some Quetzal Craft stamps. Now, I get my Quetzal Craft stamps from our sponsor, Topflightstamps.com, and they're having their 3rd birthday party. They have a lot of fun things going on, including a blog hop, and I am a stop on the hop. So down below, I will link the other places where you can find really fun projects, mostly birthday themed too. So we always need more birthday cards. Links to that are down below. Also a full supply list. I think there may be some giveaways on the blog hop, so make sure you check out the links in the video description. I'll link to my blog where I can put more information and photos and what have you. And it's a lot of fun. It's always great to be inspired, isn't it? So what I've done here is I stamped out a bunch of the different animals from different Quetzal Craft sets. I find that their stamp sets work really well with one another, so I thought it was fun to kind of put them together. Then I cut them out on my scan and cut machine using a .04 border because I am awful at cutting by hand, so I use a scan and cut machine. You could always cut these out by hand, that's no big deal. So then what I did was I took some cardstock and I took 2 pieces of cardstock and I cut it at 5 inches wide. So I got 5 inches by 8.5 inches. Then I scored one piece at 7 inches and then another piece at 2 inches, 4 inches, and 8 inches. Now I'm going to write this down in the video description and on my blog, so you will have that information. If I can't fit it all in the video description because there are limits, it'll be on the blog post, so that way you can have that information. And what we're going to do is we are going to make that card base by taking this. This is going to be a 5x7 card, so it will fit in a regular 5x7 envelope. And we are going to glue these together so we end up having this kind of accordion fold card that's got these different levels to it. Okay? Now, I'm trying to record this whole thing live because I have heard from a lot of you guys you prefer the live tutorials, so wish me luck. Hopefully this goes well. So what I want to work on first is the background, and I've got some inks and I've got some ink blending brushes. So I'm actually going to flip this over and use this as my scrap paper. And let's see. Trying to see what sides are going to be shown. I'm going to go right ahead and glue this together actually because I'm afraid that if I don't, I'm going to get confused. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I'm just going to use my ATG gun, but I am going to really give it a lot of adhesive because I want to make sure it's not going to move on me and that I'm not going to send somebody an activity. That's when you send somebody a card and things haven't been glued down correctly and then they have to put it back together. Use the grid on my mat to line things up a little bit, hopefully. Actually, you know what's a nice trick here? I'm going to share this tip with you. If you've got a scoring board, this can be a great way to line stuff up. You know, because I can put that right in the corner and then I can put, hopefully that's the right way. I think that is. Below, we'll know in a minute. Yes, there we go. So now it looks pretty seamless. If you had a really long piece of paper, you could do that as well, but I wanted to make sure I had a heavyweight cardstock, so that's going to work for me. All right, so I also cut out some grass here. I used a die cut, but if you don't have a die cut, you could use like decorative edge scissors or fringe scissors or something like that, or you could just leave it out. And then I've got these handy dandy masks. What I did was I basically just die cut some clouds and some grass, a couple, like an extra one, like a long time ago, and I just keep using it over and over again for a stencil. Now, my cat has just hopped up on my table, so she's probably going to be super helpful in this. This is live, guys. See, be careful what you wish for when you say, Lindsay, you need to do the live videos. They're so much fun. You never know what's going to happen. And that's true. Right now, we have a cat on the table. I'm going to relocate. Stay down, Tally. She heard me talking and she came downstairs. She is so naughty sometimes. All right, I need a blue. I think I'm going to go with Salty Ocean. No, that's a Distress Oxide. I want to use a dye-based ink. I'm going to use this Harmony ink pad from Spectrum Noir. Distress ink or Prism ink pads will all work very well for this. And I'm just going to start doing some clouds. And I'm going to use the back of my little template paper as a template. You could hand cut some clouds, you could die cut. If you have a cloud die cut, that would work just fine. Why am I getting a crease? Oh, that's because I folded it. Yeah, you probably should ink up before you fold it. Top tip there. I'm just going to bring this down so I get a little bit more color down there. I don't know if I want to have... I think I do want clouds, but I want them to be real light, so I'm just going to just very gently, not even add more onto my ink, and then just do that so I have really, really pale clouds. We're going to do that all the way across, and I think my cat's going to join us again. She's up here. She's like literally just off camera. I think her tail might swish into the camera. So we're going to do this all the way across. I'm going to pause my camera because you don't need to see a cat butt walking by. Okay, now we're going to take green. I didn't really have a good distressed green for this, but really any dye ink is going to work just fine. This is freshly cut grass, I think. Yep, from Lawn Fawn. I'm going to use my grass stencil here, but I'm going to use it. No, Tally, you stay. Holy cow, what is it? When I start talking, it draws the cat in. Jeez Louise. But you're not going to ask for any live narrated tutorials coming up soon. You're going to be all set with that. So basically what I'm going to do, I've got that die cut grass piece, right? I'm just adding a little bit of depth with this. Yes, good kitty cat. Good kitty cat. I'm adding a little bit of depth by inking up. Oh, no, don't rub your face on that. Gonna have inky tuxedo cat. She's got a little bit of white on her chin, but it would be green. Alright, so let's do a row of this across. Be right back. Preferably without a cat. Okay, let's do another row of grass. I found a box, a cardboard box, and I put that down for the cat. So hopefully she stays happy in there. So I want to do another row of this, of a different, I want a little bit darker of a green because I want there to be layers, and I'm going to put my lighter green die cut down on top of this. This is not a great green to do this with. This, I think the ink itself would be fine, but it's kind of an old ink pad. This is just an old Stampin' Up! Garden green ink pad, but it was just really handy where I was creating. I totally forgot about the cat and my stamping because I've been working over at my little table a lot lately. I wish I had tested this ink before I used it because this ink pad is almost dry. It shouldn't be dry, but I just think it's like dried out. I think there's plenty of ink in there. It's just seen juicier days. All right. So what's going to happen, that's kind of cool looking. I'm going to cap this off before I have a terrible accident here. This right here, it's also from Topflight Stamps. It's by Carabel Studio, and it's just a nice foam pad that you can stamp on. I'm going to use archival ink, and I'm going to put this on my stamp press. Because it does really help get a good impression. Okay, got that. Now I'm going to ink this up. I'm using archival ink because I just want to make sure it dries really well, dries waterproof, and I get a really good impression from archival ink. Sometimes if you feel like you're not sure if you're getting a good impression, wipe it gently on the stamp and then tap over it to remove any texture of any wipey lines. Man, the cat is happy in her box. I wish I thought of that earlier. Okay. Now I want the happy birthdays to go down the side. I think that'd be really cute. But I love that happy birthday that's on the top of the stamp, so I really want to make sure that I get that one. Please excuse whatever my hair looks like as I lean over that. I think that's gonna look good. That's a nice thing about the stamp press. You can kind of, sorry about the glare. Jeez, I'll put my hand over there. I can line it up. I can look down through, make sure everything is lined up well, and it just kind of hovers until I press. And then this is slightly flexible, so if you have a big background stamp, you can really give it pressure everywhere and make sure that it's coming in contact with the paper. Now, something I do, now I know everyone's using Misty's and other hinge stamp platforms, and so they stamp it like bam and open it up. That's not enough time for your ink to transfer, so of course you need to stamp it a few times when you do that. But if you're stamping like this and you just hold the stamp down for a few seconds, give that ink a chance to go from the stamp onto the paper and be absorbed by the paper, you're going to get a perfect impression. You're going to get a perfect impression if you're using a stamp block. I'm not saying don't use these platforms. I know it's absolutely important, especially for folks that have like any shaking, arthritis, things like that. It definitely can be a huge boon, but don't feel like that's the only way to get a good impression. We've been stamping for decades without that. So now we've got that fun sentiment there, and now we can get our grass strips glued down. So I cut twice because I want to make sure that that I had enough. It looks like I do, and I'm gonna try to put this down with dry adhesive. Yeah, that's going to work out really well. All right, got my score tape. Score tape is stronger than your regular adhesive. This is actually probably generic score tape. But, yeah, it's much stronger. So it should handle the folding and everything just fine. It'll definitely handle the ink. But if you're worried about, like, the tips of the grasses getting like pulled up or something, you can definitely add some glue, some wet glue to the tips. Probably not necessary with something like this, but if it was something that was like maybe a lot of flower petals, that would definitely be handy. All right, I'll tear off the excess on each end. Okay, since I have kind of a natural break. Oh, shoot. There we go. Good grief. Okay. Now, let's try this again. I'm going to start because I know I'm going to need two pieces, I'm going to start at that crease, that score, and then I'm going to work out. Because score tape, once you've stuck it down, I mean, you could use a heat tool and try to get it back up again, but I wouldn't want to risk damaging this. If I got it off and it was a little too low, I would just trim off the grass at the bottom. Like if I had it too low and it was, and for whatever reason, like maybe it couldn't fit in an envelope or something, I would just do that because I would not want to try to peel it up and stick it back down again. Oh, I think this is super cute. Oh, love it. All right, now we're going to do some trimming here. And what I like to do is actually flip it over and trim from the back side. And I was just going to say that it's a miracle I haven't got ink on the back of the card, but I do have a little smudge of green ink there. But hey, you know what? It's handmade. And so much better than Hallmark, I think. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so there's our base. There's our fancy fold base. Just going to fold that down. Still not very bulky, even with that that paper on the back. And it will sit up like this. So now we just got to figure out how we're going to lay out our critters. This is a fun part. Now I've got something really fun to use on this card. These are Action Wobble springs. And I got some of the minis because I think they're a little bit easier to deal with on stamped images. Now I just got to figure out how I want all my critters to go. I got so many. I think they're so fun because they are... I think maybe I'll put him on a spring and have him kind of jumping through the air like that. I think that's really fun. I might not use the cat. Now, because I want to make sure that wherever they are, that they kind of fit in there. Now, when I was cutting that, I somehow managed to rip off his foot. So, it's over here. I don't think I have the wherewithal to glue that back together again. I guess, you know what? I might be able to just tuck it under the grass because where we didn't glue up the grass is actually loose. We can actually probably tuck his feet behind there. I'm not going to have everything on springs. I kind of want the funniest fellows to be like in the front, kind of hanging off the edge a little bit, because I think that's kind of, I think those three are actually pretty cute. Oh my gosh, that's cute. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, so cute! Ah. Or maybe that piggy. This is also a great opportunity to cover up any ink smudges you might have. Oh, the cow was fun. Maybe I should just leave it. Maybe I should just do the farm animals, because farm animals are all farm animals. You know, farm animals are all farm animals, says Captain Obvious. This doesn't really make sense to have a dog in there. Dog, cat, you know what, I save all the ones though that I color that don't get used for projects. I love coloring them, so I always have extras, and I save them with the stamp set, so I'll have uses for them. Alright, now we gotta figure out where our springy ones are gonna go. I really think the frog hopping in the air needs to be springy. I think that's really cute. So I hope this is, I think it is. I might have to trim it just a smidgen. Just gonna trim off the excess plastic. Oh my gosh! So cute! Ah, can't stand it. Okay, so he's gonna jiggle. Oh, let's see, this one should jiggle. I'm gonna use a bigger one for that. I'm gonna trim a little bit off the edge because I want that to go on that seam. Let's first glue down this frog. I'm gonna use ATG because I have enough room. But I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue on the legs and stuff so it doesn't get caught. The edges there with the wet glue. And then the tape will hold it in place while the glue dries, so you get a nice little thing there. Of course, the perspective is totally wrong because this, like, with the frog in back and the animal in front here, the goat in front, it'd make you think that the goat was like humongous. So we've got a little forced perspective happening here. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so fun. Ah! Alright, so I think I'll have that one flat as well. And that one flat, and maybe just the two, those might just be my only two wigglers. Now I don't want to glue down the tail there. The tail and the rump is going to be sticking out on the back, out from the fold of the card. So you got to keep that in mind. And only glue down the parts that are not overlapping an edge. And we're going to tuck those legs under the grass so you won't notice that he's got a missing hoof. Tuck that right. Yeah, just tuck the front feet in, that's fine. If you do end up getting some glue on the outside, if it seeps out, just kind of like tap it like that, and that will help it. Now, I use my scan and cut so it doesn't cut out in between the legs. I can go in with a marker later if it bothers me. It's probably not going to bother me, to be honest, but if it bothers you, then go try to find a marker that's close to the shade you want and just fill it in. I think I'll just do a little dab of glue on the tail and legs. It's probably not even necessary, but it will make the card last a little longer, you know, if you're giving it to a kid. Now you could put like you could put an airplane, you could put a banner, like the store-bought card that I had a banner. I could put a wiggler on that one. Let's just see, how would that fold up? Oh, you can't even see that one. Nah, I don't think so. I think I'll just do adhesive. What I love about this is, like, this really, I mean, the springs, those might be kind of hard to come by. They're really not. Topflight has them. They're not very expensive. I definitely recommend the minis. I think the minis you'll get a lot more use from, because a lot of times your stamps aren't big enough for the bigger springs. And they're cheaper per spring. Let's see. Oh, how am I going to put that guy down? I could put... Yeah, I'll put him on spring. The rabbit on a spring. I got a rabbit on a spring. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Here we go. Making cards for birthdays. Topflight's birthday. Hooray. There we go. Kind of have him overlap the sentiment a little bit. Oh, you know what? It's a bunny. Bunnies can jump. Let's have the bunny up a little bit higher. There we go. I think that is really, really cute. Okay, all we gotta do is let this dry, and then it's all set. Oh, how fun is that? Whoops, forgot to glue him down. Poor cow. I decided there was one more thing I wanted to add to these cards, and I wanted to put balloons because they just didn't feel celebratory enough without them. So I'm going to start off by just putting one of these balloons on a mini action wobble spring. These are just some die cuts. You could use punches. You could just use even, you know, circles. You could hand cut some. You could use stickers for the most part. Balloons are a pretty common motif, and you probably have something in your stash that will work. And I figure if I put a spring on this first group of balloons here, that would be really cute and give me some nice movement. And then I can just kind of glue these guys down. And I'm going to use my double-sided tape, and my cat is very interested again, in combination with my glue pen here. And I'm going to try to kind of put these around so that they add some movement to the card. So this one I think I'm going to have like tied to the frog, so it's just kind of like blowing the wind from that frog there. Oh, Tally, stay out of frame, please. And I'm gonna glue these guys down here. I just think it'd be really cute because, like, you know, they could get attached to the tails or the paws or the ears or something like that. All right, so you could use real string on this. I think I'm just gonna grab a black pen and just draw some lines in. So let me get a pen and a ruler. Now you could do, it doesn't have to be a straight line, really. I don't think it really matters that much. Probably just as cute, even if it, you know, if it was a wobbly line. But where this guy is just kind of flying through the air, I think there'd be a lot of tension on the line, so I think that line should be pretty straight. Careful on the folds. Okay. On this guy, this one could be like looser because it's a bunny. It could be hopping because it's got the spring on it. So I think I'll do just so it looks like the balloon's kind of moving with. And then this one I think I'll just do kind of a relaxed line right to the tail. And I don't know, but I think I might just do like these are kind of floating away. Maybe like they were attached at one point, but they're just kind of floating away there. And now I think I'm going to call this done. Oh, you know, one other highlight I could do is just take this white gel pen and just put little highlights. Now, if you're doing highlights, I highly recommend you just stick to one side, put them on the same side for everything. And I think that would just be the, look the best. You could do a highlight on the top and bottom, just keep it the same. If you want to do like 2 dots on the bottom or something, that's fine. But you've got to like, just try to keep it the same. And just give it a second to dry because those gel pens can be wet for a little bit. And now to take a look at the final card. You can find these supplies I used linked down below in the video description. Check out the blog hop with all of our friends over at topflightstamps.com. They'll have all sorts of fun things going on. There may be some giveaways, all sorts of good stuff. and let them know that you appreciate the fact that they find the coolest stamps all over the world and bring them back here to us in the United States. I think this is just adorable. It's nice and sturdy. It will sit on a mantle, on a shelf, and just be adorable. I think this is the type of card that somebody would hang on to for a while, and you just gotta love the movement. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Until next time, happy crafting.